Hey, folks, it's Phil the Miniature Model Maker coming to you pre-recorded this time. Yes, this is not a live stream. This is just me working on the kit. It's still Gundam Artifact Phase 1 Model 2 EXS. In the previous Twitch stream I did an actual 2 hours, so we're logging time. We're going to add 2 hours to the build when we're done. But it was a lot of talking, a lot of getting on with other Gundam hobbyists while scribing and doing things. And I kind of figure y'all really maybe don't need to, or want to watch hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of scribing. So I'm going to do one um, pre-recorded video of this, put that up as episode 9, which will be coming out early March. I've already got plenty of other videos set up to go release, to go live the next few days. So I'm going to do an hour long or so video for this to put up in the 60-minute missions, and then go ahead and finish the rest of it on my own. And then I'll just let you guys know how much time it took to finish everything so we can add that to the time total. Because scribing in an angle where the camera can pick it up easily while talking and seeing the lines and everything is a bit difficult, and I don't want to screw it up. I already screwed up one of the other pieces while doing it. So I'll tell you what I'm doing here, what the general process is, and we'll call a 1 hour video good. Now, if you want to see more of these builds and things, go over to Twitch where I do the live streaming now. It's just a better platform than YouTube for that. And I will be uploading all of, or most of the streams, not all of them, depending on how they go, to YouTube as part of the build series, this 60-minute missions, like I have been. You can actually see the one that went up today, episode 6, I think, 5 or 6. Um, so you don't need to worry about missing out on content here on YouTube for the most part. But I just find Twitch easier to work with as far as the streaming style work that I do, especially when it comes to things like scribing that are going to take a long time and don't really require much of a guide. I kind of want YouTube to remain the guide slash build log platform, because it's better for that, and that's where I got my start, where I want to continue doing that sort of content. Um, but it's also fun to maybe have longer videos when I can. Plus, I kind of hate having to shut off a stream after 60 minutes if people are engaged and we're having a good time chatting. Because in the very beginning, the reason why I started live streaming was just to chat with people while I was doing my hobbying. Okay, so this little guy here is a gap, but it also will make a good panel line. So I'm going to go ahead and make that happen right now. There. That's an easy way to hide issues with gaps and things, is just to make it into a panel line. So right now I'm using a 0.2 millimeter scribing tool to enhance the pre-existing lines on the kit. So if it's a 0.2 mil size line that's already molded in all my talk of molded detail, I'm just going through making it deeper, so when I put the primer on and then do the sanding, it won't get lost. And if need be, then in the future, after that's as part of that step, I can go ahead and rescribe everything, or rescribe what is needed. Oh, and looks like the person I was watching has gone offline. I'm sitting over there watching random model people waiting for Peachy Tips to come online and do his live stream. He's a pretty funny guy. I like him. Definitely recommend searching him out and doing all the algorithm stuff. Give him the like, follow, subscribe. If you're a Gundam person and aren't familiar with Chris Peach, he's a former Games Workshop army painter. He used to manage their army painting studio, but when GW's famous painter Duncan Rhodes left the company, Chris took over doing their video painting guides. And he has since left GW to do his own thing, and now has his YouTube and Twitch channels, Peachy Tips. So he does battle reports and painting guides and just random silly videos. He's fun to watch. And for those of you who remember the 80s, he recently did a battle report of the show V. And man, as a kid, I remember thinking that was just so cool, watching the lizard alien invaders doing their thing, and Diana the Queen Lady being this evil lady. It was just fun. So that battle report was super tongue-in-cheek. Just a second. His protagonists were all 80s action heroes from television and movies, with some funny voice acting where appropriate. So I'm really looking forward to getting done with this step. I like scribing. I've probably said this in other videos. It's cathartic for me. Just kind of getting lost in the movement, being present for the process. But I also like the effect that it has when you're done, for making panel lines better. Now, I don't have the courage nor tools to be doing decent freehand scribing on these artifacts. They're just too small. but thankfully they do have quite a bit of pre-molded detail that can be enhanced, which is why I'm not using one of the main reasons I'm not using guide tape. It's because the molded detail itself is the guide, and if I'm going maybe doing an area that's not molded but is between two panels, one of those panels is generally higher than the other and is the guide. So there's not a lot of need for guide tape when scribing the artifacts. That's not to say that it's never needed. In fact, these guys could really use it. So I tried doing repairing one of the lines yesterday, and it's just not going to go. Guide tape there would make it a much easier process, more accurate, less risky. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that. I don't want to go buy a whole roll of guide tape just to do a couple little round cylinders. Okay, now don't go too far. Now there is a risk with describing these artifacts that if you get a little bit overzealous, you'll either cut through the plastic or cut through the glue that you've put down. So you do need to be careful of that. And knowing when to stop is kind of a skill on these. Alright, so that is molded. Okay. So there's molded lines here, but they're a little bit small. And are you're 0.2-ish. Nope, you're 2. Also not the right size. So in my toolkit, I've got a 0.2, 0.15, and 0.1 scribe that I use for these things. And I'm going through each part, finding the appropriate sized lines to hit before I move on. I don't want to be switching tools between parts. Just do all the 0.2 at once, all the 0.15 at once, and then all the 0.1 at once. Save some time, save some brain power, and not make mistakes. And remember that this is plastic. It's not life or death. If you make a mistake, you can sand it out, you can fill it and rescribe it. It's not a super permanent, crazy thing to worry about. It can be fixed. So give it a try. who knows? You might actually like it. Oh, and that's... Oh well. What can we do with that? So what I've done here is I've taken a thicker little detail and have cut through it to make a panel line there instead. I think that looks a little bit better. What size are we? 0.6. You want the 0.4. Here we go. And these chisel things are, well, I call them chisels. Or column chisels or file scrapers. Technically, they're etching tools, but they're not. Uh-oh, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, thank goodness. They're not the best. They're good for less detailed work, or if you want to thicken up, widen an already existing panel line that you did with a deconstructor. But because that part that I've done the line with was already thick, about 0.4 mils, I'm taking the 0.4 mil chisel and there we go, making this whole line 0.4 mils. Here we go. So if you're concerned about your scribing, about making mistakes or whatever, start small. Go with a thin scribe. Be gentle. Take your time. And then, and then if you want to make it wider, just use progressively wider bits. That's all you got to do. That way you've got your guideline already, and you're just enhancing an already existing thing. As easy as that. Here we are. And then I'm just turning it over to actually use the cutting action of it rather than the scraping action to smooth the bottom out. And that's that. Now I just grab this, take the plastic off, and we're in good shape. It may need a little touching up, back and forth, take the time. It's plastic, it's not going anywhere. There. That's good. Now, okay, that's going to need to be filled, and I think I know how I want to do it. And again, this is modeling. It's all about the process and enjoying the process to the level that you like. You never, ever, ever have to go as far as I do. Part of the reason I'm doing all of this work on these kits is to show people how to do it as kind of a teaching method. And if they want to use that technique on their kit, they can. If they don't want to, they don't have to. Or if you want to, you can. If you want to, don't want to, you don't have to. But at least you will have access to the tool if you do. Alright, now here on the foot, I have a choice. I can go ahead and do a light scribe around these edges to just enhance that enhance the separation a little bit, or I can depend on this fairly big line, the connection between them, for the shade and panel liner to just rest in there. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going full display quality with this guy, so I'm not going to take the time to go haywire with them. I just want to make sure that the panel lines that are existing, or details that are existing, are enhanced enough to handle the next few steps of the build. All right, so here's here's something where the molding is bad. The spaces above and below this detail piece are about 0.4 mils and are kind of easy to get to, but this one is not. So I just went through and cut out, or enhanced, I guess I should say, the line on this side so I can more comfortably and securely get the 0.4 scraper around it. Here we are. That's better. And all I'm doing is cleaning out the previously molded space around this detail so that it shows up better, and then giving the entire interior of the detail a bit of a cleanup too. There we go. Nothing crazy. Nothing really fancy. All we're doing is cleaning these things up. The details are already there. Just making them a little bit clearer and cleaner. And make sure to look up every once in a while. Give your eyes a break. This is tiring work on the eyes. These details can be very hard to see in this plastic. And if I can figure out how, I'll add a little bit of music to this so you can enjoy your hobbying to some chill music and every once in a while hear my voice. Try not to go too deep with these. Just get them not shallow enough that they can withstand the sanding and stuff. I have in other kits maybe gone a little bit too deep, and that makes it a bit hard to see when you get the panel liner in there. So it's a delicate balance between enough, too much, and not enough. And when you when you see me going backward with this, I'm not applying pressure. I'm just using the backward motion to help clear little pieces of plastic scrapings that are in the channel there. Sometimes it's good to go back and forth, like forwards and back in the same movement. Other times it's better to just do more strokes, but in the opposite direction that you were previously going. And the opposite method is, from what I understand, better. And I agree with that because it helps keep your lines cleaner and even. The panel liner will flow through it better. However, sometimes it's easier to hold the piece in one way than it is to hold it in the other, kind of like what here. So I may end up doing more strokes in one direction than the other. Whatever works best for you and your kit to meet your wishes. Because at the end, these are miniatures. They're Gunpla, but they're also miniatures. So I've found that certain accepted techniques for use in the scale, the grade Gunpla, full-size ones, doesn't necessarily work as well on these kits that are smaller and have softer plastic. Excuse me a moment, I'll be right back. Alright, we are back. And Peach Tips is live! Let's go! How long have we been recording here? 46 minutes. Okay. So we're almost... Oof, that's not... That is not a good job there, Phil. Alright. Okay, good. Very nice, very nice. Give it a little bit of a touch over here. Having to kind of dig out some excess plastic around this bit. And now up here. went a little bit off track on that. Gonna have to do a little, well, maybe. So if you do your scribing like this before you do all your priming, surfacing, sanding, and priming, any minor shallow scratches will be taken care of. So you don't need to really freak out about it. The only problem is it does sometimes make it harder to see what you're trying to actually scribe. Nope. And Kazakh is found his mouse. You may hear cat noises in the background. That's just my boy, my old man, playing with his toy. You know, some cats are birders, some cats are buggers, meaning they chase bugs and things. Kaz is a mouser. His favorite toys simulate mice. Alright, here we are. Oh, and I gotta unmute him. There we go. Okay. Where did... I can't find that little piece of sandpaper I had. I guess, oh, I can use this. So I'm not scribing with this knife, I'm just cleaning up small areas. The tip of the knife can get into areas that the scribe has trouble getting to. Some of these lines are a millimeter. So yeah. All right. So this is an old airbrush needle. I just replaced the needle I use for priming. Alright, that's all I'm going to do on that. I think. Let's see if this works. That's not exactly what I was hoping for. So the line is kind of gunked up. I'm having a hard time seeing it to clean. And the last piece here I'm going to do. And up here. Well, enough of that too. All right, so it is time. It's been an hour. We got 3 pieces scribed. Let me go ahead and do the panel lining just to show. And this is my homebrew mix. Of 50-50, well, it's about 90% 50-50 mix of airbrush thinner and flow improver with just enough black ink to make it visible. And it's acrylic ink. So it's totally water soluble, which makes it great for this step. Ooh, that needs to be done. They can just put it in water, just plain water. Dish soap does help, but just plain water works. Here we are. Okay. There we go. So that's what I was talking about earlier about unevenness. The bottom of this panel here is much lower than the bottom of these lines up here. So I had to fill in that previous one more up to the point where it would fill in and flow into these other gaps. This is so satisfying. Love it. Watch it flow through there. Love watching that ink go through the panel lines. So nice. Now I'm only doing the ones that I have touched up. There are other lines on this part, but I'm marking these. I'm doing this to mark so I know what I've done and what I still have yet to do. Okay, there's that. And then, oh yeah, the foot. This one was pretty easy. I really just done these two. Okay. Did I touch these? I don't think I did. Anything else on here? No. There are a bunch of 0.15 to 0.1 width details on these that are going to take quite a bit of time. So that is it for today, and this will be the last video I upload to YouTube until I have it primed. And then we'll watch me remove that prime and everything else. So thank you very much again for watching. I have been Phil, the miniature model maker, coming to you today with a scribing video of the Gundam Artifact Phase 1 Model 2 EXS. And remember that this is a hobby. If it doesn't bring joy, don't do it. Be good to yourselves. Bye-bye.